Hi students, welcome back to Cherish Chemistry. I'm waiting here looking for my cooties. Where are they?
Mommy!
Hi Dheeraj.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi Jania.
Hi, Mommy.
You both look so happy.
Yes, we're
Hey,
happy.
why are you so happy?
Because we are a native.
Oh, you like native. Oh, don't
Yes.
you like city?
No, in the city, we have to work. But here we can play.
Oh, what is? Yes, tell me.
Yes, in the city it is very polluted. Yeah, like in last week I saw a lot of smoke while I was going to school. Yes, I also saw it.
Oh, you saw that smoke. But
Yes.
it is not smoke, my dear children. It is smog. What is it?
Smog.
So in this video, we'll be looking about photochemical smog. What is photochemical smog? Its effects and its hazards. So shall we go into the video?
Yes.
Cherish chemistry.
Cherish chemistry.
Hi students, welcome back to yet another Cherish chemistry video. Here we are to discuss an interesting environmental chemistry topic, smog. And I am your Dr. Jabapriya. Yes, so shall we get into the video? Yes, students, we are here to discuss about smog. So, what can you recollect, when I say about the term smog? Yes, that hazy, cloudy, day that you see early morning when you get out of the house, right? So, especially during the December, the January months, right? So, all of us, not only the chemistry students, all of us should be aware of what exactly is smog. So, it is very important to know about its definition, the different types of smog, like industrial, photochemical smog, and why exactly smog occurs, the causes, and what happens. Okay, if the smog occurs, what will be the effects of smog, and finally, is there any way out, or can we get rid of this smog? So shall we discuss about all these things in detail? Smog is a mix of smoke and fog, and this word was coined in the 19th century, in the beginning of the 19th century. So this is a word to describe a dark covering, a cloud. No, it's like a dark blanket, and it is mainly due to automotive or industrial origin. And where do you see this smog? It occurs mainly in the cities. And how smog is formed? The atmospheric pollutants or gases that form smog are released in the air when fuels are burned. When sunlight and its heat react with these gases and fine particles in the atmosphere, smog is formed. So basically, when the gases like NOx, SOx are there in the atmosphere, and when sunlight enters inside, so there is a reaction between this chemicals and the uh, light. So this will create a smoke, or a cloudy appearance, and that is your smog. Okay, so we'll be discussing about the chemical constituents, the reactions that are responsible for the formation of smog. So yeah, so the next slide is about the different types of smog. So what are the different types of smog? Basically, it is divided into industrial and photochemical smog. Okay, or you call it as classical or photochemical smog. Okay, so what are they? Classical or industrial, and another type is photochemical. Is it okay? Yes. Yes. So what are the two different types of smog? Industrial and photochemical. So what is the reason for industrial smog? So when you have a high concentration of oxides of sulfur. So when you have high concentration of sulfur oxides in the air, And why do you get sulfur oxides? When you burn sulfur bearing fossil fuels. Okay, so burning of sulfur bearing fossil fuels, especially coal, and we find this type of smog. So, and this type of smog is aggravated when you have dampness, when you have a hazy climate. And a high concentration of suspended particulate matter in the air. Okay, so you got it. So what is the reason for industrial smog? When you have high concentration of sulfur oxides in the air. And the second category is photochemical smog, and that we already discussed that this occurs mainly in the cities, in the urban areas. And what is the reason? We have a high traffic flow, right? So large number of automobiles and also industries. So this is not no only smoke, or this is not only fog, but this is because of the nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbon vapors. Okay, you have to remember these chemicals responsible for photochemical as well as industrial. So what is the reason for photochemical smog? The NOx and the hydrocarbon vapors uh, that will undergo photochemical reactions. Again, when light enters inside early morning, when this NOx and your hydrocarbon vapors due to the automobile exhaust and industrial exhaust, when it mixes with the sunlight, especially in the lower atmosphere. Okay, so you have the photochemical reaction, and finally it results in a photochemical smog. So this results in a light brownish coloration. Okay, so mostly the smog that we see in the cities is photochemical smog, right? In Chennai, when you get outside, no, especially yeah, during the January, February months, so you can see this cloudy dark coloration, and that is your photochemical smog. Yeah, now let us look even more detail about industrial smog. So, what is the other name of industrial smog? Classic smog, right? Classic smog. So, this is basically when you have high water vapor and high levels of sulfur emissions. And why do you have sulfur emissions? Because of burning of fossil fuels or burning of coal, no related things. So, sulfur particles dissolve into water droplets to form sulfuric acid in the atmosphere. I hope you can imagine. Okay, the sulfur particles, they dissolve into the water droplets. Okay, so sulfur particles, when you have water vapor in the atmosphere, and when the sulfur is getting inside the water droplets, it forms sulfuric acid. Okay, and along with that, the coal soot, it darkens the skies. I hope now you got the picture, right? And this type of smog is most commonly associated with London smog. So there was a serious problem in London. Again, we have slides describing that. We'll be looking into that. Okay, so that caused this dark brownish coloration. Okay, so what are the terminologies you have to remember? Sulfur, okay, fossil fuel, burning of fossil fuels, okay, especially coal, and this sulfur getting deposited into the water droplets. Okay, so this is the picture, and finally, what do you get? You get a layer, or you form a smog. So, and where have people seen this? In London. Okay, so the main constituent of London type smog is soot. So that is the reason for the dark coloration. And it contains large quantities of fly ash, sulfur dioxide, sodium chloride, and calcium sulfate. Okay, so these are the reactions. Now I told you, know what is the reason? Sulfur dioxide. So when high concentrations of sulfur dioxide reacts with atmospheric hydroxide, finally what does it produce? It produces, let me show it with the help of a pointer. Yeah, yeah, see, yeah. So what does it show? Sulfuric acid. So SO2 plus OH, okay, finally giving you sulfur dioxide. Along with that, other things also, carbon forms a layer. Okay, you have other gases also going and combining with this smog. Yeah, so this is a classic example of industrial smog, or otherwise known as London smog. Okay, so this is the Great Smog of London. And when was it? Around 1952. So it is a severe air pollution event that affected the British capital of London during December 1952. And how did people observe it? A period of cold weather combined with an anti-cyclone and windless condition, and that was because of airborne pollutants, mostly coal, to form a thick layer of smog over the city. Maybe you can go and see the old newspapers. Okay, what exactly happened during this time? And this lasted around 5 days, 5th December to 9th December in 1952. And when the weather changed, again the smog dispersed. But imagine that 5 days people were in complete darkness. I hope you can see the pictures also here. Okay, so yeah, right. So this is about London smog. The second type. Okay, so far what have we seen? We have seen industrial smog. And what is the reason for industrial smog? What is the reason? SOx, okay, oxides of sulfur, and burning of fossil fuels, especially coal, and then water vapor. Okay, so all these three, in combination, okay, uh, uh, will finally form industrial smog. The second category is photochemical smog. So this is a haze created when sunlight reacts with primary pollutants like NOx, nitrogen oxides, and volatile organic compounds, okay, hydrogen compounds. And again, where we can find it in fossil fuel emissions, especially when the places where you have heavy traffic flow. So when you have a large number of automobiles, when you have large number of industries, power plants, so this is a very common problem. Okay, so now we see with this picture we can understand it even more clearly. See, we have a place where you have industries and you also have automobiles. So what will be released from the industry? Nitrogen oxides. Okay, and what will be released from your vehicle's volatile organic carbons. Okay, so these two will react in presence of sunlight. Okay, as sunlight emerges inside, finally it will form a brown colored layer, a thick layer, and that is your photochemical smog. So these reactions, it will create, so the primary pollutants, it is NOx and VOC, now it will create large concentration of secondary pollutants. For example, ozone, carbon monoxide, aldehydes, okay, nitrogen oxides, and other materials, pan. Okay, so you have many other secondary pollutants that is caused. So basically, what is this photochemical smog? It is a huge blanket of pollutants. Huge blanket of pollutants. This is not cloud. This is not anything that we can enjoy, but this is a huge blanket of secondary pollutants caused because of the release of the industrial and automobile exhaust when it reacts with the sunlight. Hope you got it. So that will form a secondary pollutants, that is your photochemical smog. So this is a very crucial problem in large cities. And we have lot of case studies. Again, Los Angeles is another example, like your London smog. So London is industrial smog. This one is photochemical smog. Okay, and even in Delhi, what we see is also an example of photochemical smog. So what is the reaction here? And all these reactions happens in the troposphere, okay, in the lower layer of the atmosphere. So N2 plus O2 will give you NO, and this NO reacts with oxygen forming NO2, so nitrogen dioxide. And this nitrogen dioxide now reacts with the water vapor, finally giving nitric acid. Okay, and further you have many other products that are formed. See, O3. So ozone is one secondary pollutant that is formed. PAN, peroxyacyl nitrate, that is also a part of the photochemical smog, and aldehydes. Okay, that is also a part of the smog. So what is that whole smog is comprising of? O3, pan, aldehyde, okay, and then NO, it is your nitrogen oxides. Okay, so primary pollutants from the vehicle exhaust and then your industrial exhaust will react with the sunlight to form secondary pollutants as photochemical smog. Yeah, so I told you there are some cities in which we have seen Los Angeles, Delhi. Okay, so Los Angeles smog occurs most prominently in urban areas that have large number of automobiles. So this type of smog has its origin in the nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbon vapors. Okay, so already we have discussed in detail about how this reaction happens. Photochemical smog formation requires, no, it is not smog, you cannot categorize that as smog or fog, but it is basically a UV reaction. Okay, it's a reaction of the sunlight and the primary pollutants. Hope you got it. Okay, primary pollutants and the sunlight's reaction to form a layer which is a secondary pollutants. And smog is visible as a brown haze and it is most prominent during the morning. So when can we observe this photochemical smog? Mostly in the early morning time. Okay, and can you see anything? uh, what have you experienced? We cannot see even the vehicles that is coming in front of us. Okay, so this will form a thick blanket, okay, all over the area. So visibility reduces to a greater extent due to photochemical smog. Yeah, so this is another pictorial representation of how all the primary pollutants combine together in presence of light to form secondary pollutants. So here you can see water vapor, nitrogen oxide, okay, and O2. So all these combine together. You can see the arrow here. Okay, nitric acid, pan, aldehyde, okay, O3. Hmm? So everything together only it forms this brown layer which is your photochemical smog. Okay, primary pollutants like your hydrocarbons and your NOx, okay, reacts with in the presence of UV light or sunlight to form pan aldehyde O3, that is secondary pollutants, and finally forms a layer or a cloud which is known as photochemical smog. Yeah. So now I think you can bring out the differences. So if you have listened so far, you can tell me what are the differences. How can you differentiate? Okay, with respect to example, London smog comes under industrial smog. Very good. Photochemical, your Los Angeles smog comes under photochemical smog. And London smog is more grayish in color. Okay, what is the reason? What is the reason? Can you just recollect and tell me? Because the soot particle goes and gets deposited, right? Soot goes and gets deposited because burning of fossil fuel is the main reason. So it is more grayish in color. Whereas this one, photochemical smog, is more brownish in color. Okay, and in industrial smog, the sulfurous smog is mostly from the burning of coal or oil at power plants. Okay, whereas here this is mainly because of your industrial and your vehicle exhaust, that is nitrogen oxides and your volatile organic compounds. And along with the sulfur oxides, it also mixes with the particulates that is there in the atmosphere. This again is mainly connected with the automobile and industrial exhaust. Okay, hope you can now bring out the differences clearly. Okay, yeah, so this is yet another picture to show you how your nitrogen oxides, okay, and your vehicle exhaust, that is your hydrocarbons, will combine and it will form, see, this thing is your smog. This exactly is your photochemical smog. After reaction with the sun, your UV lights, when it penetrates, it forms photochemical reactions. Photochemical reactions initiate, and finally you form secondary pollutants, and that secondary pollutants is your photochemical smog. Basically this is an oxidizing atmosphere. You can also call them as oxidants. What are the oxidants? They are ozone, okay, mainly ozone, pan, aldehyde, acrolein. Okay, so these are the secondary pollutants. So that is uh, known as photochemical smog. So is there anything to appreciate about this? Nothing. Okay, so this is basically a very serious environmental air pollution. Okay, it's a serious problem. So that layer that is formed, it can never be inhaled. We are just walking, and driving in when we have such no cloudy a day. No, we are not alarmed, or we are not so serious, but you can imagine the amount of pollutants that is there in that layer of photochemical smog. Yeah. So what are the reasons? So already now you will have a picture, right? What could be the reason? So using coal as a fuel, whenever we burn high concentration of sulfur oxides in the atmosphere. So where will it occur? Mainly power plants. So when you have big power plants, and when there is burning of fossil fuels in that power plants, and the effect will be even worse when you have high level of suspended particulate matter in the air, and dampness. So when the climate is also very dull, so everything, so all the three in combination, it will create smog. And vehicular and industrial emissions, so that is the second reason. Emission from the transportation sector, again resulting from fossil fuel. Okay, and most of the smog formed in large cities is a result of traffic emission. So the primary reason for cities, the smog that we see in the cities, is the emission from the automobiles. The industrial processes employ large amount of fossil fuels and resources, and that will be extracted for the production of materials and goods. And all these will be released into the atmosphere as various gases, and finally results in the formation of smog. And yeah, burning of agricultural materials. So we have heard, actually in countries like India and even Pakistan, actually in Delhi, that is only the main reason. The burning of agricultural field can contribute to the formation of smog. To get rid of old crops and waste material generated from farming practices, farmers will start burning it, and the combustion of this agricultural material will contain large amount of ammonia, pesticides, fertilizers, and emits a lot of gases into the atmosphere. Finally, it forms the smog. And again, overpopulation, excessive consumption. Okay, so that also is the reason for release of harmful gases. And construction. So smoke can also occur due to construction activities, because large amount of dirt and dust particles enter into the air. Okay, and there is a high density of pollutant in that particular area. So that is also one of the reason for formation of smoke. So okay, what could be the effects? No, I think you yourself can just try to, you know, uh, visualize and tell the problems that you have faced. What will happen when you just walk into that road which is covered with photochemical smog? What will happen? You can't breathe, right? You cannot breathe freely. So the main problem is because the photochemical smog itself is a layer of secondary pollutants. So the smog will first of all reduce the visibility. You can have large number of accidents occurring in the roads. So okay, and you can't see anything clearly, and irritation in the eyes, nose, throat, chest. Okay, eye irritation, okay, is caused by the PAN. I told you, no, acetyl nitrate, and free radical hydrocarbons. So all these are reasons for the eye irritation. And smoke can make breathing more difficult by choking lungs. Okay, so and after COVID, how a breathing issue and respiratory problems has become a very very crucial issues, and all this will escalate the problem. Smog pollution can also be known to damage crops, health problems to pet and farm animals, corrosive damage to buildings and vehicles. What other remedies? How can we come out of this issue? Yeah, the first thing is to conserve, right? To conserve, to switch off the fans when not in use, to switch off your AC, switch off the lights, okay, at home, at work, everywhere. So the power, the more and more the power that we use, the more and more the fossil fuel is burnt somewhere, right? So more we save power, less we burn fossil fuels. And whenever we use some equipments, okay, some electronic gadgets, we can look into that Energy Star. Means it releases less amount of gases, toxic gases, right? So that's one way. No, we are not sure of how far it is practically possible, but it's one way where you can get some more energy, efficient gadgets. And then yeah, usage of public transportation, usage of less vehicles, carpooling, using of cycles, and yeah, and mm, yeah, to maintain our vehicles itself is a very good thing, when you keep your vehicles uh, properly serviced. So that itself is one way in which you release lesser exhaust into the atmosphere. And yeah, safe paints, cleaning products, and this that we can find some recycling mechanism when large number of agricultural waste is let out into the atmosphere. So there are so many ways by which we can create and recreate, a lot of products out of that agricultural waste. Okay, so yeah, so I think nowadays we have extraction of alcohol, ethanol from the agricultural waste. So there can be some way in which the waste can be converted into wealth. So avoid burning, okay, unnecessary burning of trash. It could be leaves or the waste that is thrown outside. So anything will finally get into the atmosphere. Yeah, so I hope this small video was useful. So can we try to recollect what we have studied? Number one, we try to understand what is smog, right? What is smog? So the term smog comes from a combination of smoke plus fog. Number two, there are two different types of smog. So one is industrial smog, another one is photochemical smog. So the industrial smog is basically because of the emission of the fossil fuels, okay, which has SOx, okay, sulfur oxides. And when you have particulate matters, again, the formation of smog will be even more, uh, you know, uh, problematic. Okay, so that is about smog. SOx plus particulate matters plus your sooty carbon that makes that layer. And what is the example that we saw? London smog. Second case is photochemical smog. What is photochemical smog? Because of the vehicular and your industrial exhaust. Okay, so what is the exhaust consisting of? Primary pollutants. What are the primary pollutants? NOx and your VOC, volatile organic compounds. So when they react with sunlight, so that is most important. When they react with sunlight, what does it form? It will form another big layer or another layer of secondary pollutants that is known as photochemical smog. Okay, I hope this was useful. Okay, so though it seems to be a serious problem, definitely there are ways to come out of this smog. So let us have create a beautiful world without smog. So yes, so meet you in the next video. Thank you. Cherish chemistry. Thank you, students.